And away we go. It's chicken dinner on a Tuesday night as I sweat baseball, my favorite thing on planet Earth. Sam Panayotovich with you for about an hour here on a Tuesday night. I'm in Boston, as you know, and the Red Sox group thread convinced me today we got to bet crochet and bet the boys. So here I am on the show watching the Yankees hold on to a 1-0 lead, runners at second and third, and there is a 2-run single. I believe that's by Yoshida, and the Red Sox have the lead. Let's fucking go. That's how you start a show. I was wondering, should I just kind of wait until the end of the inning? 2-1 Red Sox. You're welcome for the play-by-play. It's been a long time. And if you have the Red Sox, let's finish this up as the phone is buzzing like a fireworks show. We're going to talk a lot of hockey tonight. So I'm watching and sweating baseball. We're going to handicap hockey with two of my favorite people, and they come from opposite ends of the counter. Jeff Davis, awesome odds maker and bookmaker at Circa. He's their director of risk. I see him in the green room. Jeff does not also do a lot of media. So for him to come on here, it means a lot, maybe because we've been pounding wings together at Naked City for a handful of years. So I see Jeff. We'll get to him in a second. And then Alex Smith from the Ice Guys, who is a Chicken Dinner Hall of Famer. It's been on the show. I don't even know. I never remember how many times. I feel like it's been at least 9, maybe 10. And Alex is kicking off the chat tonight here. If you're watching live on YouTube and X, #Buck, #Watch the Ice Guys. They are back and ready to go as hockey season begins a week from tonight. And I would be lying if I said I was up to speed, but these are the guys that I lean on behind the scenes. When it's time to turn the calendar to October, or in this case, the end of September, and I need to catch up and cram for the test, I talk to these guys. One who bets, one who books. And let's see if they can agree or disagree on some things. And if you have some questions that you feel like you need to ask, you can drop them live. And we will get to them, of course, because I know everybody's sort of wired into football, NFL, college football. Now you got the baseball postseason, but hockey and the NBA right around the corner. So we'll talk to Jeff and Alex about 10 minutes from now. Darla checking in. Let's go, Darla. Hell yeah, Pollo. Bach. I agree with that. I wanted to talk one more time before we talk some hockey here about the tip sheet, and most importantly, about what we discussed in the last episode. If you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, because we get insight from Las Vegas and we discuss things with people that either bet or book or both. And this is from the recent edition in the Vegas Voices section. Again, you're going to get free picks that are going to win and lose. I've lost more than I've won so far this year, and that stinks. But look at this snippet if you're watching live. If you're listening, I'll read it for you. I'm honestly happy to break even on that market, Connor Howard admitted. He works for Circa with Jeff. We're talking about the Heisman market. So he says, I'm happy to break even on it, meaning they don't know what's going to happen. So you could pick guys off. And in this tip sheet that went out last Thursday night, Connor says, I thought the prices on Simpson and Nussmeier needed to be cut this week. Ty Simpson, quarterback at Alabama, had a pretty big game against Georgia. No? I then talked to a former bookmaker who told me Simpson's worth a bet at 20-1. It's right here in the story. People were so quick to write off Alabama after the first game. The quarterback isn't the answer. The defense can't tackle. Fans were hoping to win the lottery to buy out Kalen DeBoer's contract. But what happens if Ty Simpson goes into Georgia and snaps that 30-some game winning streak to a Georgia defense that was not really good against Tennessee? And inside the story at the very end, I love Alabama +3. DeBoer teams play to their competition, and it happened at Washington. And then I love this quote. Jeff, I know you're here. This quote from Matoy Pearson. I asked him, who's the best team in the country? Mo says, in my opinion, either Alabama or Old Dominion. Anybody who knows Mo knows that that's not a fully serious quote, but he's not a really serious guy. Alabama was nice for the show. So if you want things like this, to hear from people much, much smarter than me, you can subscribe right here. It is pinned to the top of my Twitter. on both my personal at SP Shoot and on the Chicken Dinner page at chickenxdinner. And it's free. There's no bones about it. Everything in here is free. It comes out every Thursday night into Friday morning. One more note on DeBoer, because this is how it works. Anybody who's bet a long time knows you don't want to be late to the party. And what I mean by that is there will be a group of people that wanted nothing to do with Bama because Bama lost to Florida State. You know how it works. Everybody does a transitive property. And then, Florida State lost to Virginia, so Bama's not good at all. Okay. Then Bama beats Georgia. And all those people that didn't want to bet Bama against Georgia watch Bama play pretty well, and they're now going to do what? They're going to bet Bama against Vanderbilt. Uh-huh. Oh, Vanderbilt's soft. What's Vanderbilt ever won? And now Bama is about a 10-point favorite. Let me pull up the current market on that game. I know it's been bet. I marked this one too on Odds Logic. Bama opened, let's see, Circa opened that one up, I want to say at like 12 against Vanderbilt. My screen is betraying me here for a second. Why can't I find it? There we go. First number at Circa, 375, 376, was Alabama minus 12. So that's what they hung. And the initial bet actually went to 13. Now we're at 10.5. Other books are at 10. Here's a stat on Kalen DeBoer. Not that stats and trends pay the rent, but you want to hear this. Kalen DeBoer as an underdog in college football. 10-2 ATS. 10-2. 9 of those games he won outright. Alabama plays up. Washington used to play up. Beat Oregon twice a couple years ago. What about as a favorite? Kalen DeBoer, 26-24-1 ATS. 7 outright losses as a double-digit favorite. If that's not proof that Bama plays up to the competition and down to the competition, nothing is. Nothing is. All right, I'm going to cut the odd screen out, and I'm going to welcome in the director of risk at Circa Sports, live from Las Vegas. The camera's sideways, Jeff Davis.
It just switched on me. It just switched on me. It was sitting all well, and what happened?
There we go. There we go.
Oh, I don't have a fancy microphone like you have. I don't have any of that stuff.
Oh, it's so funny. I think you're the first guest in the history of the show to have a sideways camera. How old do you feel right now?
Yeah, it's just pick a number.
If you want at the end of the show too. Jeff's one of my favorites because Jeff doesn't have time for bullshit. And when you were at, was it Caesars at the time?
Yeah.
They'd call you in the middle of a jam-packed weekend and ask you, hey, can you make the 96 Bulls against the 2017 Warriors? What's the spread?
Yeah, so you give me tough memories there, Sam. Tough memories.
Oh, man. So let's talk some hockey here. Also joining us from the Ice Guys, as the smoke clears, Alex B. Smith. So, Alex, I don't think you've met Jeff. Jeff, I don't think you've met Alex, but you guys kind of see things a lot of the same ways. And I wanted to kind of talk to both of you because I know you differ on one team. And I guess we could just start there.
Sure.
The Tampa Bay Lightning. Very polarizing, Alex.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky, what's the deal? Is he healthy? There's a lot to, I guess, unpack there with Tampa Bay. I think you're definitely more anti-Lightning than Jeff is, but when we talk Tampa Bay, what's the first thing we have to know?
Yeah, the first thing is just looking at what this core group has gone through over the last 6-7 years. And you look at guys like Andrei Vasilevsky, Nikita Kucherov, and Victor Hedman. Those are the 3 most important players for that Lightning group. And you just look at how they've gone the last couple of seasons. You had Vasilevsky around this time 2 years ago pop up where they say, oh, he's got this kind of issue, he might need this surgery. All of a sudden, he's missing 2 months of action and never really quite got back into his rhythm that particular season. The next year, he played well, but he still wasn't quite the caliber of goaltender that we saw just stealing games left and right in the playoffs and winning Stanley Cups for the Bolts. I think even though they said everything's okay with him now, that he's ready to start on opening night, I still think that there may be, when there's smoke, there's fire. And this is a goaltender who's in his early 30s, but has played a boatload of hockey. I just wonder if something happens. I don't trust in his backup, Jonas Johansson, and that could be the first domino to fall that maybe makes things difficult for the Bolts.
Jeff, what's your counter to that? I know you're more pro Lightning. What's your counter?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Vasilevsky news is at least moderately concerning to Lightning fans or Lightning backers, but it's a long season, and if he misses or doesn't play well for the front half of, a season in which the middle of the Eastern Conference is pretty weak, in my opinion, I don't really even see how they don't make the playoffs, barring an injury disaster. The lineup, top to bottom, is, you could argue it's as deep as any other team in the league. They roll four lines. Brandon Hagel doesn't get the credit for nearly how good he has become over the last 2 years. Bjorkstrand missed a bunch of time last year after they got him at the deadline. They were basically pick him in a series against the Panthers, who look like world beaters in the playoffs, and they ended up having Hedman playing with a broken foot, Cirelli playing with ligament damage in his knee. And I mean, we all know the variance in hockey. I mean, the Bolts really stood no chance in that series, but I mean, nobody really did against the Panthers. I look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, and I just don't see anybody that has the depth and goaltending. Yes, we have the Vasilevsky potential issue, but I mean, I can't name another team in the Eastern Conference that really stands on this level. And I'm also assuming, we're talking about Florida without Barkov here. We're not talking about last year's Florida.
Right.
Sure,
that changed a lot, Alex, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, no Barkov, and of course no Tkachuk as well. That does make things a little bit more open in that Atlantic division. So it also gives room for Toronto to also look a little bit better within that division as well.
Not for me. Not a Toronto guy. Speak for myself.
Not long term, in regular season, of course, where they always do well. They're a great regular season team, and that's more so where you get your value.
Toronto, to me, Jeff, is Penn State. Like, I think that's a very fair comparison. You know that they can win a lot of regular season games. You can trust them to get in, but you just can't. I mean, I know it's not fair. I ring the bell every morning when I say you can't do something. I can't trust them.
It's not about trust betting hockey. It's about betting math. They seem to lose in the first round every year. Gary Bettman sets the playoffs up this way. Just go look at the teams they've lost to. They just have to play a buzzsaw in the first round almost every year. Yeah, they've had a couple series won that they've lost. Marner gets some unfair criticism for not playing well in the playoffs, but go look at his playoff game logs. There are plenty of series where he was unbelievable and probably a big reason why they were as competitive as they were. Yeah, there were a few series where he was a no-show, but we all know Toronto media and how, if things are good, they're not that good, and if things are bad, the world is ending. So, Toronto's a good team. They've been a good team. The deal they just signed Stolars to is unbelievable. He's one of the best goalies in the league. I couldn't believe how cheap it is. Yeah, he's had some injury history. I guess there's some risk there, but with him making 3.75 and what some of the other guys making 6 and 7 are, I mean, he's one of the best guys in the league.
So, Alex, let's go back to the Lightning for a second. I'm curious if we can get the whole spectrum covered here. What's your favorite way to bet the Lightning this year? I think this is fascinating because you guys you attack this one differently, and obviously you both can't be right, not to put anybody on the spot, but if you had to make a Lightning bet right now, Alex, what would it be?
The one bet I have in pocket is under 102.5 points. I bet that last week, and I feel like they could be a team that they get into the playoffs with a wild card spot. 96, 98 points usually is that cutoff point. So I could see them coming just a little short of that 103 mark. So I did take a shot with that.
Jeff, so many things to do. I mean, you could bet, obviously, win the division, plus 270 is the best number
I'll stop you there. That's the best bet left. There's nobody good in the Atlantic. There's teams that are good, but there's no team as good as Tampa. I bet a lot of my Tampa futures, 6 weeks ago, 16-1 Cup, 7.5-1 East, 3.25 division, 12-1 President's Trophy. I wouldn't bet the President's Trophy now with the Vasilevsky stuff. But, I mean, if Florida without Barkov and Tkachuk are kind of rated around Toronto, And then you have an Ottawa team they're good and they're going in the right direction, but I still don't think they're as good as what Florida is now and what Toronto is. And there's nobody else in that division that can win it over the course of 82 games. I still think if you can get anything in the like mid, 2 plus 240 plus 250 to win the Lightning, to win the division, I think it's a tremendous bet just because somebody has to win it. And I mean, if I look at my ratings right now and Vasilevsky is out and Johansson has to play, they're still like, at least 3.5%, 4% better than any other team in that division.
I got a question for you, Jeff. Do you feel that the bottom 6 for Tampa is better than the bottom 6 for Florida? As far as forward
without Barkov and
the bottom 6 with the third line and fourth line. So
right, but the third line and without Barkov and Tkachuk, the third line is now the second line.
I get okay.
So
but just secondary overall, I guess I'm saying.
Yeah, like in their current state, I would argue the bottom 6 for Tampa right now is probably the best in the league.
Okay.
So I wanted to follow up on something you said, and I think it's very important. A lot of these guys who book these things and also bet them, Jeff does both. They say things that resonate with me, and I don't know if anybody else caught that, but I was, joking around like I can't trust Toronto, and Jeff said it's not about that, it's about the math, and that's like so paramount to not only Jeff's business at booking this stuff and moving everything accordingly, but for the professionals. They're not just firing down a 6-pack and betting the 3 games at night with a parlay. Like the guys who do this for real are betting the best prices and getting the best numbers and trying to beat the market. I'm curious though, and this might not be an easy question to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because I covered that Blackhawk team, from 2011 to 2017-18 when I left for Vegas. And they were so good for so long, and then everybody just ran out of gas. They just couldn't play into June anymore because they had done it in 13 off the lockout. They were unbelievable that year. 14, they go to Game 7 in the West Final, right, and lose to the Kings. 15, they win the Cup. And then 16, I believe they were one of the best teams in the league again and lost to, was it St. Louis?
Yep.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And just like all of these long seasons and series, I guess the question is I built it up enough. How do you quantify or how do you put math on fatigue in hockey? Is it even possible?
It's tough. So like when you go from year to year, it's not just fatigue. You've got things like age curve to deal with too. Like, a guy like Brad Marchand, who was a key cog in the Panthers Stanley Cup championship. He's what, 39, 30. Yeah. He's getting up there. And when forwards who play the style of game that Brad Marchand plays, their body falls off a cliff at some point. It happens. Some guys at 35, some guys at 37, some guys at 41. You never really know, but you can't give an upward curve to Brad Marchand this year over last year. Is it possible that he's as good as last year? Sure. But, it's all projections and opinion and a lot of, subjective quantitative methods to get to what you have teams at the beginning of the season. The key is to make the adjustments quickly after you see 6, 8, 10 games of these teams, realize where you were right and where you were wrong. And sometimes you realize you're right, but the results have been wrong. A team might have played great, but they might be 2-7-1 because they got goalied in 3 of them and, whatever. Like it's hockey. The variance is wild. But yeah, fatigue is one. Like Sam Bennett even said during one of the many, post Stanley Cup celebration speeches, he's like, I can't play like I play in the playoffs every game during the regular season. I'll die. And he's right. Like, there might be some fatigue, but I think that's just something you have to build in. Don't use a lot of playoff data when trying to come up with what the math for regular season should be.
Sure. I just meant in the sense of Florida's done this so many times now. And because I covered it and I remember watching Duncan Keith jam his feet in ice buckets after playing his 8th straight game at, 30 minutes a night or whatever, and you're like, this team just can't do this forever. How would you answer that, Alex? I know it's not as quantitative, but do you trust Florida?
And that's the thing, and I think Jeff said it brilliantly in the sense of you can't put an actual number on the fatigue buildup, but what you can do is just keep making notes, and it's something that's a thing that you build a portfolio, like keeping notes of what injuries guys had in the offseason. Like a guy like a Keith Kachuk, who he went through surgery. This will be his second year dealing with an off-season surgery. And those things add up along with playing the minutes and playing the physical style. I think, having those procedures on your body, they add up over time. And I think that's the closest thing you can get to trying to put something into a box. But like I said, at the end of the day, you still will never be able to truly grade it. But Florida is a team where, like I said, I like their secondary scoring. I feel like they're a team that knows how to manage the regular season. And that's really something you could say about Tampa as well. They're both well coached. Both John Cooper and Paul Maurice know how to get through the grind of an 82-game schedule. And this schedule is going to be different. This is an Olympic year. A lot of condensed games, a lot of 3 and 4 spots, 5 games and 8. So yeah, and then exactly, if you get hurt because of that, the condensed games, so you're missing more games, you're missing more time, and injuries can really play a role and affect some of those things a little bit more than say just a regular standard year where things are a bit more spread out. So that's something you kind of have to take into consideration.
That's exactly what John Massey brings up in the chat. Loyal ice guy. More condensed schedule, more injured players, missing 2 months, miss an additional 3 games, all that jazz. Dan weighing in. Puck talk, hell yes. And then follow-up, Vegas over Leafs in the Cup. Marner, Conn Smythe, Toronto might burn to the ground. How about that?
Probably
would that
would.
Actually happen?
Probably would start a riot in Toronto. I can see that easily happening. But I think Marner will do well.
Yes, same. The Vegas team looks real good.
Yeah.
Scott is saying Canadians at Atlantic winner 28-1. And then he says, well, 22-1 at Circa right now. He bet it over the weekend, Jeff.
Yeah, we were at 28. We're at 22 now. They just were the team to me last year. Somebody had to finish 8th in the Atlantic, only because somebody had to. None of those middle teams are any good. They weren't particularly bad, but there's just not a lot between Detroit, Montreal, Columbus. Pick your poison there. It's all like they're going to be fine. Montreal's going to be fun as hell to watch. They got some really exciting players. Probably going to play some high-scoring hockey games. Yeah. Probably going to be somewhere between 7th and 10th in the Eastern Conference, and then get run out in the first round against somebody really good. That would be my prediction on the Canadians in a brief nutshell there.
It's funny you said it because I have them getting knocked out. I actually bet this at DraftKings. Montreal get knocked out in the first round plus 230 because chances are you'd be laying 280, 290 against whoever they draw in the first round, especially if they're a wild card team. So I think that's a decent bet. They get in, and like you said, they're the best of the worst, really, in that kind of log jam in the bottom, and they find a way in and then get right out.
Jeff, curious what you've seen elsewhere. I know we don't have to get into the specifics of who did it or how much it was, but was there a bet or an angle that you've noticed that people have come in and bet you on? Like maybe you weren't, I don't want to say weren't ready for it, but maybe we're a little surprised by some of the action in the future market or the day-to-day stuff?
No, I mean, we took I think the one thing I guess that's, I don't want to say surprised me, but we've taken some devil's money in various markets. And I get it. They didn't have Jack Hughes for a big chunk of the season last year. And, that's another fun roster with a whole pile of offensive talent. But I don't know are they physical enough? And is Jacob Markstrom as good as he was 4 or 5 years ago? I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, they're the second best team in the Metro, but I mean, it's not exactly saying much. I mean, Carolina's head and shoulders in that division, but after that, the Caps winning the President's Trophy last year was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
That I would say they're more likely to miss the playoffs this year than to be competitive. But yeah, I mean, the Devils, I guess, is probably the team that has surprised me the most in, future markets, President's Trophy, and like the excitement to bet them.
And then, Alex, I know you have some other teams and angles, maybe even a player or two that you're invested in so far this season. What do you want to share?
Yeah, I'm high on the Anaheim Ducks. This is a team I liked how they finished things up, and they've got a lot of young talent. I think that's growing. I love the hire of Joe Quenneville. I think he's going to be a guy that he's picking up this team. It's a lot like when he joined that Hawks team. They're not the same talent level, but the situation where, Quenneville was hired as a scout, and then all of a sudden 2 games in, they get rid of Dennis Sabar, they make Q the coach. And I think he's a guy who's going to kind of just wash away what Cronin had done. Cronin was kind of a little bit tough, especially on the defensive minded, which Q is, but Q also lets teams run and gun a bit. And I think he knows the kind of talent he has. I like Anaheim over 81.5 points. I like Anaheim to make the playoffs. I grabbed the plus 325, but I think it's a one and done situation. So I also went and grabbed them to get eliminated in the first round, plus 500. Once again, looking at value that certainly wouldn't be there, betting against them in a first round series should they make it.
Yeah, just get in and then lose. That's what
right. Get in and get out.
I think the Ducks are like one of the most polarizing teams there is, because you were talking earlier, Sammy, about how do you quantify fatigue? How do you quantify a new coach, and like what's the difference, and how much do you upgrade? How much of an upgrade do the players get? Because I listen to a lot of like nerdy hockey podcasts, and by all accounts, Greg Cronin was the 32nd best coach in the NHL last year. We don't have to talk about Q's accolades. So there's obviously a bump, but what is the bump? How big is it? Because if you take what these kids are and what they did on the ice last year, it's not good, but they have a whole bunch of first and second round picks with super, super, super high ceilings. It's the exact opposite of what we talked about Brad Marchand. Do the kids balloon at 20, 21, 23? Like, when is it? Like, it's different for everyone. So to me, the Ducks, they could be a playoff team, but they could also, be near the bottom again because they don't play defense. And that, it's a big thing. And like, for me, I think my rating is going to be lower, and it's going to tell me to bet against Anaheim a lot early. But I'm also knowing that I can't quantify Quenneville, and I'm going to need a big, big, big difference to want to bet against them.
So that said, because you both can't be right on Anaheim either, and I'm not saying that anybody's more right than anybody else, but if Anaheim is eye-opening, and if you see a notable difference, how much rope do you have to give a team as you sharpen that pencil? Because if it happens in 3 straight games, you're like, all right, let me see it in 15 or 20. How challenging is that balancing act when you know that the team probably is playing above its skis, but you're also then starting – it's like if the Ducks happen to start winning 7 of 10 games, guys are going to just bet you Anaheim every game. So it's an interesting chess match between the player and the bookmaker.
And it's the funny thing is I don't actually care if they win or lose. I care how the results happened. So to me personally, I don't think Alex is incorrect on the Ducks. I just think they're a very difficult team to quantify. I think their variance and their spectrum of results is vast. It would not shock me if they were a 97-point team. It would not shock me if they were a 74-point team.
I'll just say the X factor, and maybe agree with this, is Dostal. Lucas Dostal, who I think is going to get better as a goaltender. I like what I'm seeing from him. It really rests on him. Now that you have John Gibson out of the way, who was at one point one of the best goalies in the world, but his injury issues just happened to be too much. So now you move him out of the way. Dostal gets a new deal. He's got a backup in Peter Mrazek, who he's always usually injured, but he's a guy who now only has to play 20, 25 games at most. I like this tandem, and I think Dostal being the number one guy now, clear and present, I think he makes the difference.
For what it's worth, Dostal was announced injured today, but they said it's just day to day, so I don't know what to make of it yet.
I did hear that.
But yeah, Mrazek is, if you're looking for a backup, he's absolutely fine as your backup goalie.
Here's our guy, Jarek. I knew we were going to get some wacky stat that's so random, and he thinks it's real. But here we go. 19 teams with a new head coach have made the Stanley Cup final since 2001. I don't even, as I say that, I don't even believe that. But I believe Jarek did the homework on this. So that would apply to New York.
But how many teams have had a new coach since then?
Right. Yeah,
that doesn't matter.
I mean,
None of
there's
that
several
matters.
a year. Somebody's got two teams, you know. I bet you the math is actually upside down. 2 teams make the Stanley Cup every year.
Yeah, no, it is wild though. But this logic applies this year, he's saying, to the Rangers and the Stars. Do either of us feel some type of way about Rangers or Dallas, A or nay, pro or con? Alex?
I like the Stars lineup. I just don't know if Gullison's the guy. I don't know if his coach bump is going to be enough to take them over the hill from where they were with DeBoer. So, and the Rangers, I'm still kind of on the fence. They had so much internally going on. I want to wait and see before I make a judgment on them.
I would agree wholeheartedly with Alex. And Gullitson didn't show a ton in his first 2 jobs, 4 years of NHL coaching. 12 years ago or whenever it was. Now, the rosters he had weren't as good as the roster he currently is inheriting. So there's that. But I just look at this Dallas Stars roster. I think it's very good, but I'm not 100% sold that Mikko Rantanen is as good as he is because he's not playing with Nathan McKinnon anymore. And I'm not trying to slight Mikko Rantanen, but he looked a bit mortal outside of, really just got hot in the playoffs for a few games. His regular season post Colorado was, pedestrian. I actually bet under 37.5 goals. The Stars are good and they're probably the second best team in that division. But again, I'm not sold. And then you look at the Rangers. Mike Sullivan's a great coach and, Shesterkin's a great goalie, but after that first year, he's been good. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's regarded as this unbelievable goalie god that really hasn't repeated what he did his first year. And that overall roster, while very good at the top, thins out really fast at the bottom. I can't see them winning multiple playoff series.
And that's what John Massey's saying here in the chat. They get a lot of love from the national media, but the local guys are respect Sullivan, John says, but the top 2 lines are older, downhills of career, and Gavrikov, I'm guessing that's moving to D, not making the D. Yeah. But sort of exactly what Jeff was saying. Like there's a lot to like, I think, at the top, but in terms of balance of the roster, it's just not there. On the way out, I'd love for a Stanley Cup final prediction if we can. Jeff, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but I know Alex will. Tell me about Bradley Nadeau. What do I need to know about Bradley Nadeau?
I wish he was on. I bet him 99-1 to win the Calder for peanuts because I went to another book and tried to bet it, and the guy came from behind the counter and stopped me from betting it after betting $20. You can't bet that again, sir. I said, okay. But they didn't move the line, so I went back in the next day, and I was able to score another $20 at 99-1. So the guy can shoot the puck. The guy can shoot the puck like no other. Think like Dylan Gunther. Just an unreal release. The problem is he's on a roster that's deep as all get out, and he's not there defensively yet. He's still really young. Super, super high ceiling offensively, though.
And then, Alex, you have somebody you like for Calder, right?
No, not for Calder, also, but I do like Bradley Nadeau. As a Wolves fan, he is a quality goal scorer. But no, for my player prop, I grabbed this, and I got this offshore, but I like Frank Nazar to score 30 goals. I grabbed it at 10-1. And, saw him get the hat trick in the preseason game the other day here against the Minnesota Wild. That was mostly team one against team one for both lineups. I think this kid, he just has a nose for the net and for the puck and finds ways to score. He did it all in the second half of last year. He looked good in the World Championships, the limited time he got with Team USA. So Frank Nazar scored 30 goals at 10-1 offshores.
All right. Moment of truth. We will remember this all season long. We will celebrate you if you win, and we won't do anything if you lose. Stanley Cup. Who's going? Who's winning? Junkyard. Who you got?
Tampa and Vegas. I couldn't tell you who wins, but I'll give you Tampa and Vegas in a long series.
Okay, I'm gonna look that exacta price up, the exacta box, and I'm gonna have to go to town on that one. So Tampa
Face
and
full of
Vegas.
chalk for everyone. Yep.
That's hey, if it hits, I don't care. I do not care. Alex, what do you got?
I think we get a Vegas-Florida rematch from a couple of years ago. Florida finds a way to get back in, but I think it ends just like it did that last time. Vegas hoisting the cup.
All right, that's Jeff Davis, the Junkyard, my guy. I'll see you in either February for Super Bowl or March for the tournament, and wings on me, buddy.
Hundreds of wings, just like every time.
How many did we eat last time? There was a huge crew.
I want to say Chris, the owner, posted something in the neighborhood of 700.
Wow.
We ate them out of wings. Like they posted that they
impressive.
had no wings like the next day. They like people were going to the other location to get wings for like a couple days because
Jeff showed up. I had
Yeah.
already been there about 2 hours. I'm like, I gave him a hug and I'm like, go eat because they're going. Like, these things are going.
people just kept coming and we just kept ordering. Matoya and I we ordered like 30 or 40, and a few of us ate those, and there was just big, you just see the waitress walking out with like the massive like flying saucer trays full of wings, and so good.
Yeah, I know you're busy. You're up early. Jeff Davis, Circus Sports. Thanks for making time, buddy.
All right, guys, take care.
All right, there goes Jeff Davis, and then I want to give Alex a quick plug here. If you don't follow the Ice Guys, I don't know what you're doing. This is where you can find the show on YouTube right here. Bang, Ice Guys. They're busy, and tell us about the schedule. I know that you guys are hot and heavy. You're doing a lot of content starting real soon. What's the game plan for this season?
So all the season previews will be done by this week. You can find those on our Patreon page, patreon.com/iceguys. But as far as YouTube content, Friday, we'll be doing Eastern Conference preview. Monday, we'll be doing the Western Conference preview. And then Tuesday, we get off and rolling 2 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, where we'll be talking every game every day. And we'll be on every day during the season and the playoffs.
Every day. Oh, baby. The grind. The grind
Oh, yeah.
starts. Well, I guess it starts Friday, but then it really starts on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
All right, there he is. How many times on the show, by the way? I said 9 or 10, but I could be low on that.
I think it's 10, and then we lost an episode. We recorded an episode that disappeared.
If I ever do like they do at SNL where you get the jacket, I need to get a red blazer and like do that 5-time appearance club. And you would easily get the first one. The most requested, the most populous guest on Chicken Dinner. That's Alex Smith from the Ice Guys. There it is right there, youtube.com/the Ice Guys, at the Ice Guys. Buddy, appreciate it. You know I love you. Yeah. And I will be talking to you soon. All right.
I see you.
Peace out. There he goes. I didn't bring a shot. I know. I'm worn out, man. I know. I know. The people are going to hate that I didn't bring a shot today, but they will live.
It's all.
What do you got?
It's all.
What do you got?
It's actually the end of some Jack Daniels ride because I gotta get your whiskey too. Those damn Vikings. I gotta pay off my bet. So
it's all right. See you, Alex.
Cheers, Corbie.
As we welcome. There's Corbie. Corbie, you boozing yet or what?
No.
Yeah, I'm not. It's Tuesday. I'm too tired. Can't do it.
It's a Tuesday, man. Yeah.
I know. Those Thursday nights hit a little differently. And then the worst was we would start, I would start. And then an hour after the show, I'm like, I'm kind of buzzed right now. Like, I have to upload this because the show had to get up by Friday morning. So yeah, that was
it's a work week. Somebody's gotta get it done. We'll let it be you. You need an intern, huh? So then you can drink all you want.
Nah, on Tuesday I'm okay. Although if the Red Sox win this game, I will go get a shot. I was sweating it early. Started the show. Yankees were up 1-0, and I thought to myself, if I lose a baseball game 1-0 to a solo home run, I'm going to hate myself. And then as I was starting, the Red Sox got a 2-run single, and they cling to a 2-1 lead right now in New York. Crochet was awesome today, former White Sox. And now it's Chapman against his former team, bottom of the 8th, runner at first, 2 out. I can't do the play-by-play because those days are over, although I did it for a long time. Did you make any baseball series bets this round, yes or no?
No. I'm I would say I'm more game to game, more player props, more not really worried too much about the series. And then obviously joked about it on Twitter, but have been buying Dodgers futures.
There it is.
I said 5-1 there. There's a lot of 6-1s. I said 5-1 because I was being a generous guy, and I knew that it would get some replies like, "Oh, there's 6-1," which it did. FanDuel was available, so I mean, man, like who knows? Anything can happen. They have to face the Phillies. I mean, they have to face the Reds, but we'll skip that. They have to face the Phillies. Like it's going to be a tough spot, but like you go look at this lineup, and it just feels like to me like a lineup in 3 years. We're like, man, can you believe that was a baseball team that you could bet on? Like their worst player in their lineup is going to be Tommy Edman. Max Muncy is going to be the 6th spot hitter. Like this is just maybe even the 7th. Like, it's ridiculous. This team is unbelievably talented. My man Tyler Glasnow is going to be the 3rd best pitcher in the lineup, and Yamamoto is a very close 4th. So it just feels like an unbelievable team. Inevitably, they probably lose, but 6-1 is ridiculous.
That said, let me kind of spin this forward on you because we did see this market go up today at BetMGM, and I didn't tell you this was coming. You and I don't prep for this. We just kind of vibe and see where things go. As I flip out your tweet to bet more Dodger stock and go grab it. Here's the World Series MVP market at BetMGM. Obviously, Ohtani is the favorite. That's 10-1 now. I saw a smaller number this morning. Joe and I were doing bet sweats. I thought I saw 750 or 8-1, but they're starting to float guys out and try and write more money on this. And of course, this market will evolve over the course of the postseason. So stop me when I get warm on Dodger guys. And if I miss one, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm doing a million things here. Ohtani at 10. I'm going to keep going there. How about Mookie, 35-1? Freddie, 40-1.
That seems crazy.
In which way?
Freddie should not. He should be a much more favorable to be the favorite price. 40-1 for a guy who hits at average like him. That 40-1 is crazy.
And he won it last year. So
yeah.
But if you bet it now, here's the reality. If you bet Freddie Freeman now, and Corbie is literally sitting here saying, I love the Dodgers. Corbie said he liked the Dodgers last year, and they won the World Series. If they get to the Fall Classic, Freddie Freeman's 5-1. So why do you bet this now? If that's a home run, I'm going to kill somebody. Okay, thank God. It looked like it was off the bat. There we go. All right, just got a little angry there, Corbie. I thought that was a 2-run Yankee homer into the jet stream. Chapman gets out of it. We're going to the 9th, 2-1 Red Sox. There's a highlight right there. They always clip things. If that's a home run, I'll kill somebody. Perfect. That's exactly what I should be saying.
Pause real quick. Pause real quick on this. I want to continue this, but you just brought up something. Chapman has been unbelievable. I don't think people are talking about it enough. Like he has been incredible this year. So shout out to him. I mean, Father Time has somehow skipped 2 people in our generation. Chapman and LeBron. I don't know how they've done it. He is one of one. It's so incredible to watch. But continue. Sorry.
So if I keep going down, I almost said Bellinger. He's not a Dodger anymore. Hasn't been one in a while. Some of the pitchers I saw prices on this morning. I was actually thinking about you as we were doing this segment today. I want to say Glasnow was 150-1. There's Yamamoto at 80. Where's Andrew Vaughn? 100-1. No thanks.
You just passed Glass.
Oh, I did. Okay, 100.
Yeah,
so he was 125 or 150 this morning. I know pitchers don't generally win it, but what's the price on Glasnow if they get to the World Series? What's a realistic number with only 2 teams?
I'm one of these guys that's like, don't give it to a pitcher. Loving Glasnow, I'll call it. Let's call it 14-1. Inevitably though, there's a lot of things to work out here. First off, I think he's pitcher 2. Which would put him in the rotation for more pitches than probably is giving credit to this. I would assume they're thinking he's pitcher 3 behind Ohtani, just based off arm stuff. It would surprise me if Ohtani went second. But so I'm making Glasnow 2, which gives you a little bit of value there. Second, we've watched the Dodgers. We watched this last year. Dave Roberts will use a pitcher in the final inning, a starting pitcher in the final inning, if he thinks that gives him the best chance to win. We watched it with Walker Buehler last year. Walker Buehler, who struggled all year, got the last inning of the Yankees game to try to make that game his. Now, who would you use in that same situation? The reason you go to Walker Buehler is because he has disgusting swing and miss stuff. At least at the moment, he did. Now he's kind of falling apart, but Glasnow has arguably the most nasty swing and miss stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's like a series clincher bottom of the ninth, game 7 type of guy. So I mean, there's a lot of upside there. It's not what I would bet. I mean, at 100 to 1, I'll have $20 on this, of course. That's my guy.
Well, but, I mean, Freeman, I think that you were mostly intrigued by the Freeman. I can throw names at you, but if I don't have a number next to it, what good is it on a betting show? So that was your first sort of hold the phone. Freddie Freeman 40 to 1. I see Snell, same price as Glasnow, 100 to 1. So the last few guys that have won this, obviously all hitters. Freddie Freeman, Corey Seager, Jeremy Pena, Jorge Soler, who hit 3 go-ahead home runs in the 21 World Series. Seager again in 20. Last pitcher was Strasburg in 19. And then the huge outlier is 2018, Steve Pearce wins it for the Boston Red Sox. I'm sure everybody knew that Steve Pearce was a Boston Red Sox. 2018, he hit 333. But a lot of these guys, Corbie, they're top 4, top 5 in the lineup. You got to get at bats, and you got to come up with guys on base, right? And that's Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, I've got one more for you. Look where Teoscar Hernandez is in prices, because the guys you just named all did one thing very well. They hit a lot of home runs. That is what people remember. And Teoscar,
he's favored. After Ohtani, of course. That's in that series though.
Most home runs. That's most home runs. Yeah.
In that series, not in the whole thing. Teoscar Hernandez 80 to 1 at BetMGM, and
that would be my
numbers
click.
Have a range. I only have MGM up right now.
Yeah, that would be my click. Of course, Ohtani's number 1. Of course, he's going to pitch. He's going to hit. Like in every simulation, he should be first. You're basically making the argument of when does Ohtani not get it? Which there's a lot of simulations that happens. He could get hurt, and this guy hasn't even pitched a ton this season. So Teoscar is going to be the 4 spot, the 5 spot. Teoscar at 80 to 1 that's crazy. That's where I would go. Freddie 40 sounds fun. Maybe like a pickup as they are beating the Phillies, but right now, like at 80 to 1, even given all the circumstances, they might not make the World Series. Like I would bet Teoscar at 80 to 1.
All right. First question in football as we bounce around here on Chicken Dinner, and I will stay on here to sweat the bottom of the 9th.
I'll have to pull it up then.
Here's Yoshida, who had the 2-run single. Sorry, I'm glancing over the top of my screen here. My TV is not like flush. I got to look over the top of the laptop. First question. I think you and I feel the same way about this game. I know a lot of people won't want to do it because of what just happened, and that's fine. 367, Penn State, laying 25. Well, let's call it 25 and a half now at most places. They're winning this game by 7 touchdowns, right?
Yep. Yeah, lay it. 25 is fine. And 27 is fine. I think I made it. This is a little nice slapper. I got the game up now, so I'll be watching with you. I believe I make it here. I can just check for you. I make
7
it 32.
touchdowns is a little extreme. You made it what? 32?
32. And that's like, of course, you would assume that they're going to lay off the gas, and that's like maybe I don't price it enough. I priced they basically take the last 5 minutes off. But do they? I mean, we've seen James Franklin not care to take it off the gas ever versus bad teams. You have to make a statement game at this point. Your offense is putrid. They need to run up stats. They need as many possessions as they can get. And then you look at the UCLA team who, before last week, like if you think, Penn State looked awful last week. I ran this game last week, of course. They all run at the same time. I had Penn State a little worse than this. So, like, you're telling me losing 17-14 to Northwestern, you're going to upgrade UCLA? Like, yes, they covered spread. They scored 14 points. They look like absolute crap. Like, yes, they had a new coach. Like, all of these things happen. There's a bunch of intangibles. But, like, this isn't like a week-to-week increase because their coach is going to have more time. Like, I think this team is awful. I gave them 7.8 points, and I don't think that they can score a touchdown. So that's being nice to give me to Penn State 32.
Well, and I'm going to look this up on the fly. I believe that Penn State is 0-4 ATS. I know they definitely have 3 losses, and 2 of those came in the final 30 seconds, including the Villanova 4th and goal pass to the tight end back of the end zone that everybody remembers. I'm pretty sure, though, I'm going to pull up team rankings right now. It's either 1-3 or 0-4. And if there's one guy who cares about the boosters, it's James Franklin with all those, late touchdowns, late fourth quarter, the fake kneel with Prbula against, was it Northwestern? When Prbula faked the knee and threw a touchdown to cover. Here you go, Penn State 0-4 ATS. The thing is, though, I see that and I don't get scared off by laying, less than 28 because early in the season they're laying 45 and 42. Like, we've gotten them because they've been so bad. We've actually gotten them cheap, and I have no issue. I also think like this is going to go up, right? Friday and Saturday we're going to be 26, 27 maybe.
Yeah, I thought this would open. Like, I made it 32. I didn't think this number would ever be 32. You're just not going to get any kind of action on the other side. I thought it would open like 28, 27 even would be fine, but anything under that, like I don't see it going down to 24. And if it did, I would buy more. It's up only, right. and I don't think this game candidly is close at all. And if it is, it's one of those games where, like, I talk about this all the time. There's 136 teams at this point, I think, maybe more. Like, inevitably, you can start marking teams off as the season goes. Like, listen, I don't understand this team, or I think that they might be so bad or so different than I thought in the priors that, like, I don't want to see this team. If Penn State wins this game by, call it 17, I mark them off and I don't bet them the rest of the year. And is that right or wrong? No, it's probably wrong. But this is one of those games where, like, I have Penn State covering by a healthy margin, and if they can't do that, I just don't know who this team is. I think their offense might be so bad that I can't even adjust the priors enough, and I kind of just like blackball them until next season.
I just got a text. I heard everything you said, and I'll listen back in case I was a little distracted. I just got a text from my guys at the bar that said, if your ass isn't here after this win, we're going to have some problems. So maybe I will.
Keep going.
Maybe I will go out tonight if the Red Sox can pull this out with a 2-1 lead, top of the ninth. Bregman at the plate. It doesn't really matter what they do here, although a base hit would make it 3-1, and that would feel very, very good. I need Chapman to slam the door on his former team. All right, so let's say we got about 10 minutes here, Corbie, maybe less. I kind of want to give you the dance floor here. You've made early bets, I know. I've got your story here on Yahoo, which everybody should check out. Corbie's been giving bets with Yahoo Sports this year and gave you 3 early week six bets. And you're going to have more bets later in the week. But I kind of usually give you the baton and say, take us wherever. I gave you Penn State and teed you up there. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'll go with a few. I bet a lot today. So we can click through a few. First off, I got to tell you a story. My bookie, who we just trade paper money. It's not real money, IRS. It's just, we're just friends. We just trade fake money. But he texted me the other day and he was like, sent me a screenshot, and he has Yahoo Sports notifications on, and it was 4 or 3 college football bets from Corbie Craig. And he's like, is this you? I'm like, yeah, I can't really get out of this one. So that was an awkward conversation. So it's been interesting, but it's been weird. All right, Sammy, let's go. Ooh, down. Nice. Are you watching this live?
Oh, I missed it. I was so locked into what you were doing. Alex Bregman with an RBI double. Red Sox 3, Yankees 1. Let's go. What's that live price now? See, here's how sick I am. Now I'm like, what can I get the Yankees at? Like 10-1?
Yeah, issues.
950, 9-1. No, I'm not doing it. Nope, ain't happening.
All right, Sam, I'm going to list off a bunch of games. We're going to look at the price and see what I can get good. Go to, I don't have a rotation number, Boise State versus Notre Dame.
We got to get you hooked up with Odds Logic, by the way. I got to put you in touch with that staff and make something happen. Okay, Boise, Notre Dame. Let's just call it 20.5, 63.
If I can get a 63, I like the under. I was going to be close because Ras was betting them today before Buckeye posted, because that's what they do nowadays. But the under 63 is a good bet. Inevitably, like I mean, we've seen the smartest guys I know in the space who aren't moving the screen until an hour before kickoff, betting Notre Dame unders and just continuing to get their butts handed to them. this number just feels like week after week, the market number is going to keep going up because they keep going over. And there's some smart people who keep betting the under. So I will gladly take the under 63 here. Bet it earlier today.
Yeah, you can get 63.5 at FanDuel. I was just trying to give you the consensus price. I mean, there's a 62 at Chris, a 62.5 at BetMGM, 63 at Circa, 63.5 Superbook, South Point, FanDuel.
That's better than 62. 62.5, 63 is fine. The key 63 isn't the biggest. 62 is very important. So 62.5, 63, whatever.
Okay.
However we want to say it. All right, we'll go to another fun game. We'll go 3 today. I'll go two good games, and I'll go just one, just absolute stinker. The next fun game, 11 a.m. Saturday, Clemson, North Carolina.
Oh, God, you're getting involved in the Dabo and Belichick game. Clemson.
Total.
Total. 40. I mean, low side 46, high side 47.
Okay, we just need better than a 47, so we'll go over 46. That's a good price. I bet 45.5. A lot of things happening here. Like we've seen this Clemson offense just be putrid. And then on the other side, do we think North Carolina could stop a high school team? Like I don't. This game is spreads 14. Dabo's going to attempt to run up the score anytime he can, especially when it's any kind of game that has any kind of like social influence, which is every Belichick game. We've seen Dabo do this a million times. We've seen him put in backups to run the 2-minute drill and score a touchdown to cover a spread. So total's not high enough. North Carolina has a quarterback in Gio Lopez, who, I mean, I'm sure you remember last year, Sammy. South Alabama, he was an explosive quarterback. He hasn't looked good at all, but at minimum, he's going to force. You get a phone call?
No, that's my alarm to bet the Reds, but I just set that to piss you off. I actually am not betting the Reds.
The Reds? Oh, I see.
I literally set that before the show.
It'd be a losing bet.
Drop that joke on you. Carry on.
Boo. What an awful joke. Boo. No, I'm just kidding. Tim Hill's in. Okay. Yeah, so this is just a spot where I think Clemson kind of cooks. You could look at a spread there. I ended up playing the total. I just think the number's a little too low. From a spread standpoint, it would be Clemson or nothing, but I didn't bet the side.
Okay.
And then
so I got Penn State. We got the under in Boise, Notre Dame, and the over in Clemson, North Carolina. Yes?
Yep. Let's go to one more. But only because this is what I do. It's the chicken dinner special. It's the nastiest of the nasty. Let's go to Ohio versus Ball State.
I can get you. Oh, wow. They bet the dog here, huh? They took Ball State.
They did.
Circa opened 17, and now we're 14.5, 15, a stale 15.5, and the total of, let's call it 50.5 to 51.5.
I want the best price I can get on the favorite. Whoever bet this opener down, I commend them. They must be really good at math. They must have some really good models. But you know one thing that they don't do, Sammy? They do not watch college football. I can promise you that. Because what they're doing is they're saying Ball State's a good football team because they played UConn close. They scraped by New Hampshire. They were able to muster up 3 points versus Auburn. They put up an impressive 0 points versus Purdue, and the nerds are saying, because my number was saying it last week, the nerds are saying maybe Ball State's had a tough strength of schedule. Maybe they're not that bad. Maybe UConn's good. Maybe Auburn's good. Maybe Purdue's good. They're all wrong. If you go look at a talent standpoint, these are 2-star athletes now facing an Ohio team who has been good for many years, has the same team for many years. They have a different coach, same staff. Parker Navarro, a great fifth-year quarterback. This team will they will dismantle Ball State. I'm probably wrong there because my number is so off, but I cannot believe they bet this off of the 17. I was going to bet Ohio minus 17, Sammy. I was given a 14 on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's gone. 14.5, best you can do.
14
now, actually, well, if you play Forecaster, you could do 14.109, the exchange, obviously. 14.5 basically everywhere. And then 15 South Point, 15 Circa, 15 Chris, FanDuel 15.5. Don't bet it there.
Yeah, you can. So another thing, just like friendly tip, I guess you could say, is like you can get 14.5 minus 10, I believe. You can get 13.5 minus like 36. And if you bet half stake on, so you could always just like buy a half a point. A lot of books do that, and they'll charge you 10 cents. You get minus 120. If you buy half your stake in 14.5, half your stake in 13.5, you just created like an artificial minus 14, which would only be minus 117. So saving yourself 3 cents, which doesn't seem like a ton, but it obviously matters. So 14 minus 14, 14-point favorite minus 117 isn't a bad price, but 14.5 is plenty fine. I would be embarrassed to tell you what I made this number. I think it was in the 20s. So I'm not even close to this.
All right. If you want to learn more about what Corbie does, right there, betterodds.co, your betting simplified. And they track all the data from 30 sports books, 250 markets. I hear the props are crushing right now, by the way.
Yeah, it's been a new endeavor, man. We build out NFL props, so now I have to watch all the NFL games. I've never been an NFL guy, but I'm dialed in this year, so I'm having a good time with it.
Tough life. Okay, so Chapman's on the hill here. Goldschmidt just loops a hit in front of the right fielder, so tying run coming to the plate. I am not going to sit here for 10 minutes and do the play-by-play of this game. I'm going to go to the bar, but we also have to figure out, because after I said last week that we had Mike Shope on from Buffalo and said that we want to get to a Bills game. It's the last season at the stadium. We've been invited to not only like bars, but tailgates. And somebody said they would throw us through a table if we wanted to. And I'm not really interested. There's a base hit by Judge. Here we go.
I'm interested.
This sucks. Here we go. Yankees first two guys on, first and second.
Oh boy,
maybe I won't go to the bar. If they lose, I'm not going. Obviously,
the hit hasn't registered for me yet. Let me see this.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is why I wanted to bet the Yankees at 9-1, but I didn't do it because I'm stupid.
And it was a good slap too. I mean,
he hit it hard, no doubt. Let's see.
Aaron Judge
Pinnacle now has the Yankees. No, that can't be right. They just took it down. Minus 170, minus 180. I see. Price live.
Yankees?
This is brutal. Yeah, no, Red Sox. There's
I was about to say.
Oh man. Yeah, Yankees are gonna win this game right here in the bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded.
The good news for you is all they have to do is strike out Bellinger or keep a guy on first.
He just got a hit. So now bases are loaded. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you might win 3-2 because Stanton is coming up. And we'll do a play. Oh, that was a great hit.
I'm not doing it. Nope, I'm not doing this. I'm leaving. Thanks to Jeff Davis. Thanks to Alex Smith. Thanks to Corbie Craig. Chapman has loaded the bases. I've got the Red Sox money line.
Double play coming.
What could go wrong? That does it for Chicken Dinner. Cash some tickets, make some money. Come on, Red Sox. Come on. Talk to you next time.